If I say the words platform fighting game to you, what pops into your head? I imagine for 9 out of 10 of you, it was Smash Bros. Partly because of my audience, but mostly because it dwarfs other platform fighters in its popularity, with almost a monopoly-like hold on the genre. New titles come and go, but Smash stays ever present. But why is that? Let's dig in today and figure out just. Smash Bros was released for the N64 in 1999 for all regions, and burst onto the gaming scene, basically creating a whole new genre that people instantly clicked with. Using the enticing and strange concept of Nintendo's roster of already famous family-friendly characters beating each other up to draw people in, only to keep them there with gameplay filled with diverse movesets, interesting stages, fun items, and a cool single player when your friends aren't about. It did so well, it's the 5th most sold game on the system. This would spark a series to come that would be a consistent bestseller on every console and improve its insane crossover cast with every iteration. But normally when a new type of game is created, competitors spring up and keep the original on its toes, and maybe even outdo it. Yet, to most people, I bet Smash is a one-of-a-kind game, that they may not have even played another game of its genre in the 24 years since its original release. Why is this? What causes every other release to live in Smash's giant shadow, never to break past even for a second? Well, to figure this out, I want to look at Smash's competitors through the years, so that we can figure out just what makes Smash king, and what its competitors need to do to give it a challenge. I don't know about you guys, but my first memory of a true Smash competitor was that of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. This game came out in 2012 and was the first time another company decided to try its hand at a big mashup platform fighter to try and compete with Smash, which at this point in time had already released Melee and Brawl to great acclaim. At first glance though, PlayStation All-Stars looked like it could rival Smash Bros, with a cast of well-known and beloved Sony characters like Nathan Drake, Kratos, Dante, Ratchet & Clank, and Sly Cooper. So many familiar faces, and the guy from Starhawk.
Maybe I just got lucky.
It even had cool stages from the characters' games, some really cool fanservice stuff in here. However, there was some issues. All-Stars decided it needed to be different and quirky. It could go with the same ring-out system that Smash uses, but it would just be called a copy. So instead, they created a super system, similar to traditional fighting games, but except this was your one and only KO option. If you've ever played Shrek Super Slam, it's like that. Yeah, I didn't think that would help. There were no ring-outs or health bars, just hit your opponent with a super and you're golden. The more bars, the more likely you are to get multiple KOs.
I feel like I'm in a fucking asylum full of dementia-ridden old people that do nothing but repeat the same fucking words on loop like a fucking broken record.
And while this sounds super simple, I think for a lot of people this decision was a big turnoff. I remember playing it and being extremely confused as a kid. How am I supposed to defeat my opponents if it wasn't like Smash, when I hit someone they went flying off the screen to my immense satisfaction? Instead, they all got launched slight distances, and it was kind of ambiguous how you get kills, especially if you had done the typical thing as a child and not read a word of the tutorial.
Know your fucking place, trash!
I think the biggest flaw of the system was that it made the rest of the game feel less impactful. Other hits didn't feel like they even mattered, though they would have. There was no immediate consequence to getting hit, which meant the game just felt worse. I also feel that more than any other crossover fighter that I will talk about in this video, that this one just looked weird. Like, Smash has strange characters, but somehow manages to make Snake look almost natural standing next to Mario and Ganondorf, using each Smash game's art style. But All-Stars just seemed to throw art style to the curb and just throws people in their base game state in there, and it just feels so clashy and uncanny that it's off-putting. Almost like they're all individuals not in the same game. In the end, the game had the right ideas, but failed to capture the magic that allows anyone to just pick up and play the game to have fun like Smash had. It had the draw of a crossover fighter, causing it to sell over 1 million copies in its first year, but that's about what Brawl did in its first week, and it had no staying power as a competitive game. So if a big company like Sony can't do it, how about we give the little guys a go? Brawlhalla and Rivals of Aether are the more prominent indie titles to come from the platform fighter genre, and both have had a good amount of success, so let's take a look at them. Brawlhalla is a free-to-play game that was released on the PS4 and PC in 2017, and it's probably the first free-to-play platform fighter that was put out there, which definitely helped it, but that alone wouldn't let it thrive. While it only had original characters, Brawlhalla executed well on the core mechanics of Smash, and made a game with very tight and fun movement that allows for expressive combos, as well as not complicating the already established combat system, simply changing the percents to colours on the character icons that darken as you get hit, giving the combat the impact you would enjoy. Rivals also had a similar approach, an all-original cast of characters, some of which clearly took inspiration from Melee, as well as some more deep mechanics like wave dashing for the hardcore fans to really sink their teeth into. Of the two, Rivals definitely feels more samey in its movement in comparison to Brawlhalla, which feels unique to Smash. Rivals clearly takes very heavy inspiration from Melee, which is by no means a detriment, but does mean it stands out less. Now, because these are both indie titles, by no means does this mean they couldn't compete with Smash. We see indie games blow up on the regular nowadays. No, I think the main thing holding these two games back is their just lack of appeal as a party game. As a fighting game, by all means, these two stand on their own. They have core audiences who compete regularly, and they have consistent dev support, with updates and new characters. Unfortunately though, both of these games keep players around just through that competition. I wouldn't really choose to whip either of these out as a game to play for fun with my friends on the Discord call. Which is unfortunate, because I think if these devs got a hold of some big IP and could put together a big crossover fighter with mass appeal, it could really get close to Smash. If they got some fun game modes in there, maybe some items, I think they're onto a real winner. So maybe someone hire them. But Smash just holds that appeal that even my nephew could beat me in Smash if he pulled out some big Pokeball or something. Just really making it fun for everyone and allowing it to grow to the size it has. I feel like I've talked a lot about the obvious reasons why Smash is great so far. We all know that its style is incredible, and it's fun for everyone, and its simplicity yet depth is its greatest strength. However, these two titles that were released in the 20s really show that it's the fine details that matter. Nickelodeon, a gargantuan media franchise with names like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and goddamn SpongeBob! Alongside multiverses, using Warner Brothers, another media giant with some of the most iconic names in media: Superman, Batman, Tom and fucking Jerry. These two games are not lacking in the crossover department. If anything, their properties equal or overshadow some of the ones in Smash. Yet, neither has managed to hold on to their initial burst of momentum. But why? Sure, neither of them had that casual-esque item play like Smash, but the core games in their roster made them fun enough to come back to. I mean, I'm never going to turn my friend down when they ask me to Batman vs Superman, you know, but yet their competitive scenes also seem to be dwindling. What did these two do wrong that Rivals and Brawlhalla got right, despite their lack of recognizable names? And how does Smash do it better than them all? Well, as they say, the devil is in the detail. And this time, it really, really is. How do I explain? Well, talk to any Melee player, and one thing that is brought up more than any other multiplayer game I've played is the sound. The meaty noise a Fox Nair makes. The pain Falco sounds like he's in when he's sent into the blast zone. The slice of Marth's sword, and the build-up of a charge shot. These are all sounds that are ingrained into your mind if you had played Melee, and they aren't exclusive to it. In general, Smash's sound design is incredible. Everything is unique to the point that I can say toot toot or yeah, and you will know who I'm talking about. This feels strangely absent in both of these games. It makes them feel, 1, less satisfying, and 2, devoid of the character that they should be presenting with such iconic casts. Nick shipped with no voice lines whatsoever, making battles just feel empty. You could see it in the audience reception. Multiverses did do better in this department, with characters actually being voiced, but all they have is full voice lines. No little sounds when they hit someone, no grunts, no yas or tooth. Yo, Impost Chaler here, correcting myself. I just wanted to say that in the edit we did notice that there are actually those grunts and sound effects that I'm talking about, but I just hadn't noticed them in my time watching the game or doing the research for the video, which is kind of crazy. Kind of speaks to my point a little bit, and why I kind of still feel it's accurate that even though they are there, they just aren't as recognizable over the voice lines, which are very loud in comparison, very lengthy and almost patternless as to when they come out. But yeah, I still thought the point's there. But anyway, just want to correct myself, back to the video. Instead, just a very similar hit sound effect for every character, or a cartoony one for those that it applies to. That's the same for Nick. Why don't I feel something meaty or impactful is happening when Aang is just swinging on me into the blast zone? Perfect. I know I'm not tripping with this being a big thing. I mean, characters like Sheik in Melee have combos that are considered boring, but are essentially the same as Falcon's. The only difference being one has some meaty sounds with lightning visuals, and the other sounds like this. Speaking of visuals, I do feel like that's also where both of these two fell short, but in different ways. Nick's animations, while visually clear, just feel very janky and fast without any sense of fluidity. Almost like the characters just seem to snap back into place. Whereas Multiverses has the opposite issue, where the animations are great, but it just lacks that visual clarity. The characters always feel really small on the screen, and I just have a hard time making out what move is what as a casual spectator, or player sometimes. It can just feel like a bit of a cluster of animation a lot of the time, and neither games really have that weighty animation that Smash seems to have down. These details are things that people don't notice when it's done well, but when it's missing are extremely obvious. It's not just that I'm talking out my ass either. Sakurai clearly cares a lot about this stuff. Just YouTube Sakurai animation and you will see a plethora of videos on his animation philosophy in Smash. So for now, Smash is king. But what could show it some real lasting competition? Well, for some upcoming games we have Rivals of Aether 2, which while probably still isn't aiming at a casual audience, sure is catching my attention more than the first. And unlike other devs dropping the support, the big brass for Nick All-Stars have greenlit the sequel, which from the trailers looks to be fixing the issues we talked about here, with a much nicer new look and very fluid animations, along with voice lines and new mechanics which after the trailer look like they will draw in that competitive audience. Honestly, based on that gameplay trailer, I'm really excited to try it out. I think it'll be pretty good. I'm not sure it will come for Smash, but seeing one of these big crossover fighters stick around and iterate on its mistakes gives me hope that we'll see some variety on a larger scale in the space of platform fighters. And maybe, in the future, Smash's crown will be in danger. Thank you for watching. I just want to take a moment to say thank you to the Patreons, Tingly Jungle and User Error. Your support means a lot to me, and if anyone else wants to support the channel, there's a Patreon link down below. Go ahead and click it and give whatever you can. I'd greatly appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter if you're so inclined, and I'll see you next time.